Welcome back to Real Facts, and you are live in effect with Shania Blanco. Now, I wanted to just get off into, well, first I wanted to let you guys know that I am going to hit you guys with a Fatal Attraction story, well, a couple stories that I thought was interesting. First, I would like to mention Kanye West and Bianca, his wife, at the Grammys. They definitely came and showed out. I don't know what that was all about. Somebody had said something about it was something pertaining to she being a sex slave or something like that in honor of Black History Month. It didn't make sense. That was a really, really bad comment or bad feedback, I would think. But I mean, they did put themselves out there like that. Nobody really knows why Bianca was at the Grammys naked, not half naked, but naked. That was bizarre. That was bizarre. Willow and Jaden, they also had some interesting outfits on. I thought Jaden, however, had the house on his head, which he's the only one that can pull that off, by the way. I don't think anybody else can come in and say, or just come in and have this weird big house on their head. I was weak, but I love them. I love Will Smith's kids because they're weird in a good way. They're weird in a good way. I like them. Anyway, those were interesting statements, fashion statements that were made at the Grammys. Now, I don't know if you guys know who Irv Gotti is. Some of you guys do, and some of you guys don't. But apparently, he has passed away at 54 years old. I guess he had his second heart stroke. So, condolences to his family as well. Moving along, I want to talk about how it's been a lot of people on social media talking about, I don't know, undercover enemies. And undercover enemies, jealousy, and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy how you have to love people from a distance, because sometimes money change people that get it, and sometimes it changes the people that are around them, that's around them. So they think that they're acting funny because they have all of this money. And some of them probably do be acting funny, but some people are just jealous. Some people don't want to see you with nothing. I mean, not a dime. And they would try to do anything in their power to stop you from, prospering or going where you're trying to go in life. So you have to be careful. You have to know who you got around you. You have to know who your company is. That there's that company thing again. I always tell you guys you have to be careful who you connect to. In this case, this is probably, I don't know, a friend that you grew up with or a family member or something like that that you would want to take on, on the road, on a high road with you, but you can't take them because they're constantly hating on you about something. They're constantly doing something weird to you. So you can't really show love like you would want to. And there's nothing wrong with showing love to people. It's just that some people, they don't know how to receive the love that you have, I guess. There's been a lot of things going on where there was a situation that occurred with a young lady out in St. Louis, and my condolences to her family. Her friend, who she had been friends with for a long time, who was more than a friend, she was supposed to be family or whatever. And apparently they were riding together and had, I guess, a disagreement, and she shot her in the back of her head while she was getting out of the car or something like that. I think she was getting out of the car or whatever. But she shot her in the back of her head, and she was supposed to be, they were best friends. They were best friends. And it's so sad because they got memories together. This girl hung out with her and her family, and I'm sure she hung out with her and her family. And it was real shocking to everyone to find out that this friend would betray her like that. I mean, if you guys are friends and you guys are like family, there's no way that you should even have that kind of thought in your mind. I don't care what kind of disagreement it is. You should never want to hurt your friend in any kind of way. That's especially taking a person's life. So this thing is becoming major, this jealousy thing. Like, a lot of people have this spirit on them. They have this kind of greed spirit, because that's what it is. It's a part of that. It's like a greed thing. where they don't want to see you with it all. They want to have it all, and they probably want to give you a little bit and be above you. It's always somebody that wants to be above the next. Like, or you can't just, or you guys can't be on the same level. Somebody has to be doing more than the other in order for you guys to walk together in agreement. And that's been, I think that's been a problem for years with people in their relationships or situations that they had encountered. And it's getting more and more, it's getting more worse for a lot of people. Um, it's good to stay solo, especially if you don't have the gift of discernment. If you do have the gift of discernment and you could feel that somebody is giving you a bad vibe, you never ignore your gut feelings. If you feel something is in the air about somebody, 9 times out of 10, you're probably right. You're probably right. And even if you're not right, still be cautious, because maybe, I don't know, you probably wasn't right that particular time, but maybe God is trying to tell you something. I don't know. But it's a lot of that jealousy stuff going around, and a lot of people are falling out after years of friendship because they had a small disagreement with one another. You can be talking about, or something could bother you, and it's not bothering you that bad, but your friend here is taking it personal to the point that they're so angry that they're plotting on taking your life. What a scary position to be in any kind of situation. Just be careful out there, you guys. I mean, I know it's crazy out here with all the betrayal and all of the undercover enemies, all the hate that's going on. You have to literally be careful. Sometimes it's just good to walk alone, Sometimes it's just good to just walk alone, because you just never know who wants your life, who wants your personality, who wants to be you. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. A person is envying the next or wants something from the next because they want to be them in some kind of way, or don't want them to prosper, don't want to see them shine in any kind of way. And you definitely should get away from people like that. Definitely stay away from people like that. If you sense any kind of hint or of any kind of jealousy of anything, run. Stay away, avoid that person as much as possible, as much as you can. So moving along, when you're in a relationship with somebody and they're constantly doing things that you don't like, or they're constantly hanging out in the streets, partying and mingling as if they're single, just doing things that they're not supposed to do in a relationship, sometimes you have to give a man or a woman back to the streets. I mean, hey, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. You can't continue to be in a situation where you're unhappy, you're uncomfortable. Normally when God makes you uncomfortable in a situation, it's because it's time to move along. It's time to move on from that particular area in your life. It's time to just, pack up and, step. Because if you don't, it's going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. You're going to constantly be wondering where he or she is every night. You're going to constantly be crying because this person cheated on you or put their hands on you, just being just disrespectful. If anybody doesn't respect your boundaries or respect you as a person, then, it's time to move on. And, get that person back to the streets where they comfortable, what they used to, where they comfortable at, and you go ahead and do what you need to do for you and love on you and wait on God. Because listen, it's not good to just jump into a situation just because you're lonely at all. It's not good to just hop into a situation all because you want somebody to hold you at night, but you got the devil next to you, causing you all kind of stress. You're losing your hair, you're losing sleep. Come on now, you don't want to keep going through that. So learn how to, detach. People really need to learn how to detach from people. That's the big problem. People have detachment issues to the point that they don't want to leave. They will literally stalk you. Okay? Because they don't want to let the situation go. They don't want to let the marriage go, the relationship go. Detach. It's not hard. Sometimes it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt your heart. Not sometimes. It just depends on how, I guess, in love you are. Yeah, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt pulling away from somebody that you've been around every day and you're used to this, and you had kind of got comfortable in a sense. You were comfortable, but you were uncomfortable because of the disrespect. But you're staying. You want to stay because this is what you used to. This is all you know. But no, sometimes you just gotta take a chance, honey, and get away from that, or because you can end up, you never know, in a box on first 48 or something. I don't know. Some people never know. People will say that they'll never do certain things in a certain situation, but you never know what you would do in a situation. I would pray that it would be the right thing that you do, but you just never know what you are capable of doing when you get inside of a situation. That's why people say, you can't tell me how to tie my laces, tie my shoes, or whatever they say, that little saying that they say. You can't walk a mile in my, you can't tell me how I feel, how I'm supposed to feel about a certain situation. That's true. All right, that's true. You can't, because you just never know what kind of mind. But we learn ourselves. I'm gonna say this: we learn who we are through the storms that we go through in life. Things that you wouldn't think that you can handle, but you handled it pretty well after you went through it, after God brought you through it and took you through and brought you out. And sometimes people go through things and they can't handle it. They're not strong enough because their relationship with their with God isn't strong. That's why. I mean, I'm just being honest. If you end up in a situation, or if you know someone that was in a situation and they just, I don't know, went off, like they lost their minds, it's because they were weak minded. They wasn't strong enough in the mind to detach from the situation and move along and walk away and stay humble and be strong and let God take care of the things, that they were concerned about. Sometimes you have to let God take care of people. Not sometimes, all the time. You need to let God take care of people, because God can take care of people better than you can. That's why vengeance is the Lord's. All right. So don't go trying to hurt somebody because they hurt you. Let God take care of people. God can take care of people better than you can. So yeah, get that toxic thing about your life. If you are one of those people in a toxic situation, detach. Learn how to detach from a person and let it go. You cannot force something that's not meant to happen, okay? And everything happens for a reason, on that note. So, and another thing I wanted to mention, the most dangerous person in this world is a close friend or family or somebody that you trust, like that's an undercover enemy. And the reason why it's dangerous is because this person is like with you every step of the way. They know every move you make. They see where you keep your personal items at. They know exactly what you're going to do next. They're that close. They've learned your every move. So this person can take you out if they're the enemy. They can take you out because you trust them. I've saw stories and heard stories and know of people that was in situations where they ended up losing their lives because they trusted somebody. And this person was plotting on them the whole time and set them up and took their lives. There was the one girl I knew of. She had just got out of a relationship. Things was going good for her. She was rapping or whatever. She was living a fast life. And her family was throwing some kind of party for her. And of course, her enemy had to have been there because she got shot in the head in her own backyard. So this person had to be somebody that she trusted in order for them to walk up close up on her and nobody to notice the situation. I guess everybody had went in the house. It was nighttime or whatever, and she was the only one in the backyard at this time. And no one knew. And I don't think they found out to this day. Not to this day. They still don't know to this day who it was that killed the girl. the young lady or whatever. She's very pretty or whatever. But I think it was an ex. I think it was somebody she was dealing with from her past. Or it could have been somebody that she was involved with that took her out. No one knows. Your enemy will show up at your own funeral just to make sure you dead. Okay? There's some evil people out here in this world. So it's important. It's very important to learn how to detach from people, because if you don't, it can be too late. When you want to leave, it can be too late. So make sure you guys think on that. Examine your friends, the people, the company you keep. Make sure you know who you got in your circle. Make sure you really absolutely know who these people are for real. If you don't figure it out now, it might be too late later. All right, so you guys stay prayed up. But anyway, so I got a couple of fatal attraction stories. They're kind of brief or whatever, and they're sad. So there was a Florida man who was he was a pastor, and he called himself a prophet. A prophet of God. So he was one of these, for those people that don't know what a prophet is, those people supposedly see in the spiritual realm and hear from God. God was supposed to have told these people what to tell the people, all this and that or whatever. So anyway, he killed his wife. She was working at some kind of Federal Credit Union bank. And she just came outside briefly to just move her car somewhere and come back inside. But she didn't make it back inside. Her husband apparently walked up and shot her, killed her in front of, there were witnesses. There was her co-workers there. Everybody was there. And he just came up and shot her dead. And I'm not sure why, what his motive was. They didn't mention that in the article. But that's really crazy. That's insane. For a man of God, supposed to be a man of God, turn around and do something vicious like that. And then he calls himself a prophet. I think the man, let me see. I think the man's name was Sylvester. Sylvester. Yep, out in Florida. Orange County jury had found him guilty. Well, of course he was guilty. He was caught, red-handed. That's crazy. I don't ever want anybody to love me that much. Let me go. I don't know what the situation was, but that was one of my fatal attraction stories. Now my second one is another Florida pastor who killed his wife because none of the children that they had together, I think they had like 3 children together, they didn't belong to him. And what was really crazy is that he found out that I guess they did a DNA test, and he found out they wasn't his children, but they belonged to his father, his biological father. That's crazy. So his wife and his dad had been having an affair. So I guess when they interviewed the pastor, he said that he had been basically living a lie. He felt like he had been living a lie. Everything he knew, everything he loved was not, what it was. And so he snapped. His mind went. He lost his mind. The reason why I say he lost his mind is because the way that they found the lady, he dismembered her body and he packaged it real neatly and had it stacked on top of each other in the garage where he keeps his tools and all this and that at. That's insane. So he found out his kids wasn't his, and he had raised, I guess they were like, I don't know, they were still pretty young, the kids. They were like 10, 9, 12 or something like that. But I guess it just broke his heart that they didn't belong to him. But it still didn't give him a right to take that woman's life. Now, he could have divorced her and had nothing to do with her. And if his faith had failed, because of the situation, then he needed to go seek counseling before he did something like that. Like, I couldn't believe that when she knew that he had found out about the situation, she continued to stay in the house. I heard that they said that they were arguing off and on, and the arguments was getting louder. and they were ending up starting to get silent, and it would just be silent throughout the house. There's no way after you have did something so crazy to your husband that you should stay in the same household, because you just never know what could happen, okay? And if you cheating and you know these kids, the first child don't belong to him, honey, you need to get it together. Like that's another problem. People like to do things behind their significant other's back, and then they like to stay even after their partner found out, or the boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, husband, wife had found out. They still stay. That's the problem. People are staying instead of leaving. So learn how to detach people for real, because there are some people in this world that will take you out. Will take you out in a heartbeat and not think nothing of it. Because the devil has their mind. Their mind isn't in a healthy space. I really can't tell you the mind of a murderer. I don't know, but I know it's not normal, for someone to think that way. And because you know that people think this way, you have to be careful what you do to people, because it's sad to say, but people do reap what they sow. And you just never know how you're going to reap what you sow, whatever you've done, to anybody or in this world, or whether it be good or bad. You don't know how things are going to turn around or how things are going to come back. So be careful with that, be careful with, once again, your connections, because it can get really ugly in a heartbeat at any time. And stay prayed up. Start getting closer to God. And I can't stress that enough. Get closer to God. Keep God in your relationships. Keep God in your marriages, in your friendships, whatever. Keep him in there, because without God, anything could happen. I'm just being honest. But anyway, it was nice talking with you guys. You know that my show don't be too long. But next week I will be back on air with some more conversation for you guys on these fatal attraction characteristics and stories. Once again, guys, learn detachment. It's very important. Detach. Sometimes you gotta just let it go. All right. Anyway, thank you for tuning in to Real Facts. You was just live with Shania Blanco. I'll see you guys next week at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.